The skies over Earth were quiet, calm, then everything changed. At exactly 4:17 a.m. UTC, hundreds of satellites picked up a strange object near the edge of Earth's atmosphere. It wasn't a meteor or space junk, it was too big, too smooth. It moved like it was alive. Within minutes, every country was on alert. Live news channels switched to breaking coverage. Cameras zoomed in on the object. It was a massive ship, shaped like a crescent moon, floating just above Earth. No engines, no flames. It simply hovered. Then, it spoke. A deep voice came through every speaker, phone, and screen on the planet. "We are the Varnik. We come in peace." People stared. Some were afraid. Others were curious. The ship opened a glowing panel and showed the faces of the aliens, tall, silver-skinned, with bright green eyes. They looked calm. To calm, the world united quickly. Leaders from major countries set up a meeting with the Varnik. The broadcast was public. People around the globe watched. As Earth's top generals showed the aliens our military strength, a row of tanks fired shells into distant targets. Fighter jets flew overhead. Explosions lit the sky. Soldiers stood in formation. Missiles launched into the air, hitting targets with perfect precision. Then came silence. The Varnik leader tilted his head. His lips curled upward in something close to a smile. "These are your weapons," he laughed. The others joined him. The sound was cold and sharp. "You are like children throwing stones." The broadcast ended. Across the world, people felt the same emotion: shame. The aliens didn't fear humans. They didn't even respect them. They saw Earth as weak, primitive. In a secret room deep beneath the Pentagon, General Cole watched the screen turn black. He didn't look angry. He looked thoughtful. He turned to a small group of people behind him. Scientists, engineers, soldiers. "They took the bait," he said. Dr. Elaine Park nodded. She tapped a few keys. On her tablet, a map appeared showing a location deep under the ice in Alaska. "Project Thanatos is still online," she said. They never saw it. Another screen lit up. A video feed showed a long, dark tunnel filled with machines. At the center stood a strange object. Not a missile, not a bomb. Something else. It had no clear shape. It shimmered like water, but held its form like metal. General Cole looked at it and whispered, "We built that thing for this exact moment." Back in space, the Varnik ship remained still. Smaller alien vessels started moving toward Earth. Not fast, not aggressive, almost relaxed. Like they were here to explore, or maybe to collect. Another message came: "Surrender your world. We will take care of your people. No more wars, no more pain. Accept peace." To the public, it sounded like a kind offer. But in the military command centers around the world, everyone knew what it meant. Earth was being claimed, not as a friend, but as property. That same night, a secret team of operatives entered the facility in Alaska. They moved quickly down the icy tunnels. The temperature dropped with each step. In the center room, Thanatos waited. The lead engineer took a deep breath and pressed a button. Far above Earth, the Varnik ship flickered. Lights on its surface blinked. One of its smaller scout ships spun out of control and crashed into the ocean. Inside the alien control room, alarms started ringing. "What was that?" asked one of the Varnik crew. The leader frowned. "That signal, that energy signature. It's not possible." Another alarm. A second ship dropped from orbit, silent and dead. Back on Earth, General Cole smiled. "We didn't show them everything. What we did show was old, weak, a distraction." In the White House, the president sat in silence. He watched the screen as the alien ship shifted in the sky. Then he spoke, not to his team, but to the camera recording him. "If they want to laugh at our weapons, let them. But they should know one thing: when humans are cornered, that's when we hit back the hardest." The screen faded to black. Above Earth, the Varnik ship began to move again. But this time, it wasn't smooth or slow. It moved like it was in pain, like it was trying to escape, but it was too late. Humanity had already pulled the trigger. The world above still looked the same. Cities moved through their daily routines. Cars rolled across highways. Children played in schools, but deep underground, everything had changed. In a military base beneath the frozen ground of Alaska, lights blinked across hundreds of control panels. Scientists moved quickly, checking screens, watching numbers rise. At the center of the room, Thanatos stood still, silent, waiting. It didn't look like a weapon. It had no barrel, no trigger, just a strange core, glowing faintly with shifting blue light. Energy pulsed through the air like a heartbeat. Dr. Elaine Park stood in front of it. Her hands were shaking. "This is the first time we're activating it in real space," she said. "It could backfire." General Cole stepped forward. "We don't have a choice. The Varnic have already shown their hand. If we wait, they'll take control." Dr. Park nodded. She looked at her team. "Begin Phase 1. Power from every generator in the facility redirected into the Thanatos core." Lights flickered. A low hum filled the room. The core spun slowly, its glow growing brighter. Monitors tracked the rising energy level. At 70%, the walls began to vibrate. Outside, wind whipped across the icy ground. A column of light shot up from the mountain and pierced the sky. High above, in Earth's orbit, the Varnic ship noticed. Inside their command deck, alarm started again. "That signal," one officer said, eyes wide. "It's old." "No," the commander replied. "It's ancient, but impossible. They shouldn't have access to that kind of technology." More data came in. The energy levels from Earth were increasing. It matched something from their own history. Something the Varnic feared. Back on Earth, the Thanatos core reached full power, stabilizing at 100%. Dr. Park said. "Pulse is ready." General Cole stood in front of the screen. He gave a simple order. "Fire." The core released a single burst of energy, silent, invisible, but powerful. It traveled through the sky in seconds, locking onto a target, a Varnic scout ship just above the Pacific Ocean. From the ground, nothing could be seen. But from orbit, the effect was clear. The ship's hull bent inward. Its shields collapsed. The ship didn't explode. It simply disappeared like it had never existed. The command center in Alaska went quiet. Then cheers erupted. "They didn't see it coming," said one of the engineers. "They had no defense." General Cole stayed calm. He turned to Dr. Park. "Can we fire again?" "Soon," she said. "The core needs to recharge." But this proves it works. Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, another secret facility received the news. Across the globe, hidden bunkers began to prepare. Project Thanatos wasn't a single weapon. It was a system, a network. A plan made decades ago. Back in orbit, the Varnic ship adjusted its position. It moved away from Earth just slightly. Enough to show uncertainty. Inside their ship, the Varnic commander paced. "This shouldn't be happening," he said. "They are a young species, primitive. They should not have weapons like that." One of the alien officers studied Earth's communication signals. "They're calling it Thanatos," he said. "It means death." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a landing team. I want boots on the ground. I want to see how far this infection has spread." On Earth, satellites picked up new movement. Smaller Varnic ships were heading toward major cities. They weren't attacking yet, but they were watching, scanning, studying. In Washington, D.C., the president met with military leaders. They spoke in short sentences, plans, codes, timelines. Then, a new image came through. A scan of the destroyed Varnic ship. No debris, no radiation, just gone. One general looked confused. "What exactly does Thanatos do?" Dr. Park answered through video call. "It doesn't destroy matter. It disconnects it from everything, from time, from space." The room fell silent. "It erases," she added. The president leaned forward. "If they push us, will you be able to do that to their mothership?" Dr. Park paused. "Yes, but there's a cost. Thanatos isn't just dangerous to them. It affects everything around it. If we use it at full power, it could change Earth too." The president looked at the screen for a long moment. "Then we don't use it unless we have to. But if they land, and they try to take what's ours, give them nothing." General Cole turned to his staff. "Start moving Thanatos units into position. Hide them underground. Set up mobile cores in case we need to fight city to city." That night, across the world, secret teams began moving strange devices into place. Hidden inside trucks, beneath stadiums, under hospitals. Above them, the stars watched. And the Varnic watched back. Something had changed. The humans were not what they seemed. And this war was only just beginning. The first Varnic ship to enter Earth's lower orbit moved slowly. It was large and sharp, shaped like a black blade cutting through the sky. It didn't fire. It didn't speak, it simply hovered above New York City, casting a shadow over the streets below. People stopped and looked up. Phones recorded. News anchors spoke in shaky voices. The ship made no move to attack, but its presence was enough to freeze the world. In the command center under Alaska, General Cole stood watching the live feed. Dr. Park sat beside him, her eyes locked on the core of Thanatos, which was slowly recharging. "We're not ready for another full shot," she said. Cole didn't blink. He knew. A second Varnic ship appeared, this time above London. Then a third, over Tokyo. All around the world, the aliens made their presence known. Silent. Watching. In Washington, D.C., the president met again with his team. "They're testing us," he said. "They're waiting to see if we panic." One advisor asked, "Should we launch Thanatos again?" "No," the president replied, "not yet. We need to show them we can fight without it." In a military base near Nevada, Colonel Reyes was already preparing for that moment. He didn't have alien-level tech. No fancy ships, just old-style fighter jets, tanks, and trained soldiers. He had something else, though. A small unit called Ghost Squad. Soldiers trained to move without being seen. Each one armed with experimental gear copied from Varnic tech. Recovered in secret, when the alien ship over New York finally deployed drones, Ghost Squad was already in place. The drones dropped into the city round, silver, and floating silently. They scanned streets, buildings, even people. Then one of them turned its laser toward a man on the sidewalk. He didn't run. He stood still. The laser touched his shoulder, burning through his coat. Before it could go further, a blast hit the drone from a nearby rooftop. The drone exploded into pieces. That was the first hit. Ghost Squad moved fast. In less than 3 minutes, they destroyed 7 drones using modified weapons that fired electromagnetic pulses. The pulses didn't just damage the drones, they shut them down completely. Above, the Varnic ship reacted. It released something new. A troop pod. It dropped into Central Park, shaking the ground. From inside, 6 alien soldiers stepped out. Each one stood over 8 feet tall, covered in dark armor, holding weapons that shimmered like glass. People screamed and ran, but Ghost Squad didn't move back. They circled the park quietly, using their gear to stay hidden. The Varnic soldiers marched forward. Then came the second strike, a trap. One of the Ghost Squad members triggered a portable EMP device, disabling the aliens' communication. Another fired a high-frequency sonic blast that disrupted their helmets. The Varnic stumbled. That's when the humans attacked. It wasn't a long battle. It didn't need to be. Using tactics based on speed, confusion, and misdirection, Ghost Squad brought down all 6 aliens without losing a single man. Back in orbit, the Varnic command ship received the news. The commander's expression shifted. For the first time, he didn't look calm. "How did they defeat an elite ground unit?" One of his officers replied, "They've adapted. They're learning faster than expected." Another message came in. A scout ship over the Pacific Ocean had vanished, same as before. No explosion. No trace. The commander spoke slowly. "They've already used Thanatos twice. That means they're willing to use it again." A silence followed. Then a question. "What if they learn how to mass produce it?" Back on Earth, in a small base near Colorado, a group of engineers were working on exactly that. Dr. Park had already begun transferring the Thanatos core design to smaller units. Mobile versions, weapons that could be carried in large trucks, or even placed inside old satellites. "This will take time," she said. "But once we finish, they won't be able to touch our planet without bleeding." General Cole looked at her. "Good, because the next time they land, we won't just defend, we'll hit back." That night, in the quiet deserts of Nevada, a new version of the Thanatos pulse was tested. This one was short-range, meant for ground combat. The test target's a piece of captured alien metal was erased instantly. One of the soldiers whispered, "They won't laugh at us anymore." In orbit, the Varnic commander watched Earth's reaction. His voice was lower now. "They don't fight. Like other species, they don't surrender. They turn pain into power." He looked at a screen showing Earth cities lighting up. "Not with fear, with coordination, with movement." He turned away. "This war will cost more than we expected." The skies no longer looked peaceful. Every continent had alien ships above it. They hovered like storm clouds, dark and waiting, but they didn't attack. Not directly. They watched, listened, and scanned. The world was not quiet anymore. Across Earth, countries began preparing for open war. Old rivals became allies. Borders no longer mattered. Only survival did. In a forest outside Berlin, a group of soldiers trained with new weapons guns, modified with alien energy cells. In Japan, engineers worked day and night to connect satellite systems with Earth's defense grid. In Kenya, a small lab completed the first field-ready version of a mobile Thanatos device. Humanity had never moved this fast, but neither did the Varnik. The first wave began in South America. A fleet of smaller Varnik ships dropped pods into the jungles of Brazil. Inside each pod were ground troops, strong, fast, and nearly silent. Their goal was simple: establish control. Crush resistance. They were not ready for what they found. In the dark trees, hidden bunkers opened fire. Tripwires, activated sonic traps, small drones, made by students in a university lab, flew low and fast, carrying tiny EMP charges. The alien armor held up, but not forever. The Varnik pushed forward. Humans pushed harder. In a single night, they lost more troops than they had in any other first contact war. Back in orbit, the Varnik commander stared at the battlefield data. "They're not just defending," he said. "They're hunting." His officers showed maps. Earth cities had begun using tunnels, subways, and even old mines as supply routes. People were moving underground, fast, organized. "They're using every part of their world," one officer said. The commander turned away. "We will change the plan. No more watching, no more soft landings." He ordered full-scale deployment. The next day, warships entered the atmosphere above Los Angeles, Cairo, Mumbai, and Moscow. The sky burned red from the heat of their engines. Troops fell like metal rain. Humans didn't run. In Los Angeles, a group of street fighters, former gang members, veterans, and local police formed a defense ring around downtown. Using scavenge tech and smart tactics, they pulled the aliens into narrow streets where movement was hard. In Moscow, snow-covered tanks rolled out from underground garages. Their weapons were old, but their targeting systems had been upgraded with alien tech from the first crash site. In Cairo, children helped carry supplies to rooftop teams, where old radios picked up alien signals and jammed them. In Mumbai, hackers sent false location data into the alien network, tricking them into bombing empty buildings. Everywhere, people resisted. It wasn't just soldiers anymore. It was everyone. At the Pentagon, General Cole stood before a massive screen showing red and green zones. There were still too many red zones, areas lost or overrun, but the green zones were growing. "We're holding ground," he said. "And we're learning fast." Dr. Park joined the meeting remotely from a bunker in South Korea. "We've connected Thanatos units in 5 major cities," she said. "They're not full power, but strong enough to break their shields." The president leaned forward. "What happens when they realize we're winning?" Dr. Park paused. "They'll do something big, something desperate." She was right. In the Pacific Ocean, a giant Varnik carrier ship began charging its main weapon. It was not meant for battle. It was meant for ending battles. If it fired, millions could die. The signal was picked up by a deep space monitoring station. In New Zealand, they sent the alert: high energy pulse building. Target unknown. General Cole didn't wait. "Send in the air units." All of them, old jets, drones, and even cargo planes, were launched. Their goal wasn't to win, it was to stall. Dozens were shot down, but a few got close enough to fire missiles at the charging core. It wasn't enough. Then a voice came through the radio. "This is Ghost One. We're going in." It was the leader of the same unit that took down the first Varnik ground troops. In Central Park, his team had boarded a stolen alien ship. Now, they were flying straight toward the enemy carrier. In orbit, the Varnik detected them too late. Ghost Squad flew straight into the hangar bay and detonated a Thanatos device at close range. The carrier vanished. The skies over the Pacific cleared. On every screen, people watched as one of the enemy's most powerful weapons disappeared without a trace. Earth celebrated, not with cheers, but with silence. It was the first real victory. In the Varnik command ship, the mood had shifted. The commander sat alone. "They should not be winning," he said. A younger officer spoke. "They are not stronger. They are not faster, but they fight with something we do not understand." The commander whispered a single word: emotion. He stood, prepare the next phase, but even he didn't know what Earth would do next. The skies were still filled with alien ships, but the fear was starting to fade. People no longer looked up with hopeless eyes. They looked up with fire in their hearts. Across the world, word spread of the Ghost Squad's sacrifice, a stolen alien ship, a direct attack, a full enemy carrier erased. The victory gave Earth something it hadn't had since the invasion began. Belief. In a small base just outside of Chicago, one man was not celebrating. His name was Sergeant David Rourke. He sat alone in a dark room, staring at an old photo. His wife and daughter, smiling, standing in front of their house. That house was gone now. His family had died during the first wave. A blast from a Varnic drone had turned the neighborhood to dust. David had survived because he was stationed across the country at the time. Now, survival didn't feel like a gift. He wanted revenge. Rourke was part of a special team called Black Echo. They weren't as famous as Ghost Squad, but they were just as deadly. They worked in silence, behind the lines, striking fast and disappearing. Their mission was clear: hunt down the command nodes used by the Varnic to control their ground units. Without those signals, the alien troops became slower, weaker, easier to fight. But Rourke had a second goal. He wasn't just hunting tech. He was hunting the Varnic responsible for the Chicago attack. He had traced the signature of the energy weapon used that day. With help from Earth's growing network of hacked alien data, he narrowed it down to a specific warlord. Varnic Commander Gyrich. Reports placed Gyrich in a command base deep inside the Rocky Mountains, in a spot humans had once used as a secret missile site. Rourke volunteered for the mission. Too dangerous, his team leader said. I'm not asking, Rourke replied. 2 nights later, Rourke and 3 others moved through the snowy cliffs. They wore thermal cloaks that hid them from alien scans. Their gear was a mix of human and Varnic tech, fragile but powerful. They found the base entrance guarded by 2 alien soldiers. Rourke didn't hesitate. A silent pulse from his weapon dropped them both. Inside, the walls pulsed with dim blue light. The air was thick. Strange sounds echoed down the halls. They moved fast, placing small charges to destroy systems as they passed. Then they found him. Commander Gyrich stood in the center of a control room, staring at a map of Earth. He turned slowly. You are the one who follows the pain, he said. Rourke raised his weapon. You killed my family. Gyrich tilted his head. I have killed many. I do not remember faces. Rourke fired. The pulse hit Gyrich in the chest, knocking him back. But the alien got up. He charged. They fought hand to hand. Flesh against armor. Rage against strength. Rourke took hit after hit, blood dripping from his mouth. But he didn't stop. He remembered his daughter's laugh, his wife's eyes. He let that pain rise. Let it fill every part of his body. Then he triggered a device. On his wrist. It was a prototype. A neural amplifier. It connected to the Thanatos network and fed it emotion, pure human feeling. The room shook. The walls cracked. Gyrich froze. What is this? He gasped. Rourke stepped forward, broken but standing. This is what you never understood. The pulse hit. Gyrich vanished, not burned, not blasted, just gone. Later, Black Echo recovered Rourke's body. He was alive, barely, but something had changed. Back in the Alaska facility, Dr. Park reviewed the data. It worked, she said. Thanatos reacted to a human emotional trigger. It responded to grief, to rage. General Cole listened quietly. You're saying we can power the weapon with our minds? Not just minds, she replied. Hearts, feelings. The deeper the emotion, the stronger the effect. The president was briefed. Can we control it? Dr. Park hesitated. We don't know yet, but the choice was clear. Humans had found a weapon the Varnic couldn't understand. Emotion. Pain. Loss. And the will to fight back. Around the world, people began volunteering for connection trials linking their emotions to the Thanatos system, creating a new kind of defense. In orbit, the Varnic picked up the signals. They couldn't decode them. They didn't understand why their ships were failing, why their armor was cracking under invisible pressure. They didn't understand grief. They didn't understand revenge. The war had changed. The Varnic had superior tech, but Earth had something else. Human rage, and it was only getting stronger. Asterisk clouds moved slowly over the battlefield in northern France. The land below was torn apart, burned fields, shattered roads, the skeletons of towns. But in the center stood a tower made of steel and glass. It wasn't human. The Varnic had built it 3 days ago, a control spike. It allowed them to link their ground forces, drones, and atmosphere sensors from a single point. Every minute it stayed active, Earth lost ground. that was about to change. A team of human fighters, dressed in black armor with glowing blue lines, ran silently through the smoke. Their leader, Captain Mia Chen, held a small transmitter in her hand. It blinked green. "The pulse charge is ready," she said. Her voice was calm, but her heart beat like a drum. Behind her were members of Strike Team Echo, the first unit trained to use emotion-powered weapons. They had all lost something: parents, friends, homes. They didn't fight with anger alone. They fought with purpose. As they reached the base of the tower, alien guards spotted them and opened fire. Blue bolts lit the sky. One human fell, hit in the chest, but the others didn't stop. Mia placed the transmitter against the tower's base and activated it. A deep sound echoed through the ground. Not a blast, a wave. The tower shook. Inside the Varnic command ship above Earth, red warnings flashed across the screens. They destabilized the link. An officer shouted. The commander watched in silence. He had already seen too many failures. His mind was focused on one question: why were they losing? Earth's weapons were weak. Their ships were slow. Their tactics were messy. But somehow, humans kept pushing back. He walked to the center of the room and activated a full scan of Earth's recent battles. Patterns emerged. The humans were unpredictable. They did not follow clean strategies. They broke rules, and more than anything, they refused to quit. They adapt after every loss. The commander said, "They change faster than any species we've faced." A quiet voice replied behind him. "It's not just change," said an older alien, a scholar brought in for analysis. "It's emotion. Their pain gives them power. Their fear becomes fire. They turn love into rage." The commander didn't like the answer. "Emotion is weakness," he said, but he wasn't sure anymore. Back on Earth, Strike Team Echo watched the tower collapse. The explosion was clean. No radiation, no noise, just silence. And victory. Across the globe, other human units attacked the remaining control spikes. In Argentina, in Nigeria, in Vietnam. Each one fell, with their control points gone. The Varnic ground forces began to slow. Their drones crashed. Their soldiers moved without orders. They became easy targets. In New York, teenagers with hacked VR headsets guided small quadcopters into Varnic units and triggered shock blasts. In Norway, a grandmother led her town's resistance, using hunting rifles and homemade flash bombs. In Indonesia, fishermen used their boats to trap and sink alien scout ships that crashed in the ocean. Humanity was fighting in every corner of the world. Not with the best tools, but with everything they had. The president met with General Cole and Dr. Park through a secure line. "We're close," the president said. "They're losing structure. We've taken back more territory in the past 5 days than in the first 2 months of war. But they're planning something," Cole warned. "They've gone quiet," Park added. "No new attacks, no movement from their mothership. Silence from the enemy usually meant one thing: a new weapon." That evening, satellite sensors detected a strange object forming outside Earth's orbit. It wasn't like the other ships. It was round, black, slowly spinning. Dr. Park analyzed the readings. "This is not just another warship," she said. "It's a memory core." General Cole narrowed his eyes. "What does that mean?" "They're recording everything. Not just battle data, our behavior, our reactions. They're building a model. For what? To teach others." The realization hit fast. This wasn't just a war. It was a test. The Varnic were studying Earth, not to win, but to prepare for something bigger. A message came through an old alien relay, left behind in a crashed ship. One sentence: "How can such a weak race win?" The response was broadcast from Earth's main defense hub, a message sent in every known galactic language: "Because you never understood us." The memory core vanished seconds later, pulled back into space. Back in the orbiting mothership, the Varnic commander stood silent. He knew what would come next: the council, the punishment. But a small part of him felt something strange. Respect. The humans had earned it. On Earth, the people didn't celebrate with fireworks. They kept working, kept building, because everyone knew the war was not over yet. But the tide had turned, and now the galaxy was watching. The world had changed. What began as fear had become fire. What started as invasion had become war. Now, it was something else. It was victory. Across Earth, the skies were clear. No more alien ships hovered above cities. No more drones scanned the streets. The Varnic were gone. For now, But Earth was not the same. In the ruins of London, people planted trees where alien machines once stood. In Tokyo, children played in parks rebuilt by soldiers and survivors. In New York, a museum opened with a simple sign at the entrance: "We remember, we rebuild, we rise." The final battles had ended 3 weeks earlier. The last Varnic ground unit had surrendered in South Africa after their command node failed. They had no orders, no purpose. Some of them didn't even resist capture. They were confused. Broken. Not because of Thanatos, because of humanity. At the Pentagon, General Cole reviewed the last report from Dr. Park. "Emotion-based pulse weapons are now stable," she said. "We've installed them in orbital satellites and key bases. If they come back, we're ready." Cole nodded. "And the AI project? It's working," she said. "We've trained the system on human emotion patterns. Not to replace us, but to protect us. It thinks like us now. It feels like us." The president joined the call from a secure command room under Denver. "The rest of the galaxy is watching," he said. "We intercepted signals from other systems, some friendly, some not. We were a secret. We're not anymore." There was a long silence. Then the president added, "It's time." In a desert in Arizona, a new ship stood waiting. It was Earth's first interstellar vessel, built with pieces of alien tech and powered by a Thanatos-derived core. The ship was not large, but it was strong. And it had a name painted on the side: Echo 1. Inside the ship, Captain Mia Chen stood at the helm. She had been chosen to lead the first mission beyond Earth, not for war, not for peace, for presence. To show the galaxy that humanity would no longer hide on its little blue planet. A voice came through her headset: "You're clear for launch, Echo 1. As the engines hummed, a crowd gathered at a safe distance. Soldiers, scientists, families, survivors. They watched the ship rise into the sky, slow and steady, until it vanished into the clouds. In orbit, Earth's new satellite defense grid came online. 30 small platforms, each armed with emotion-triggered Thanatos pulses. A warning system. A message written in light: "We are still here." Far beyond Earth, in a quiet room deep inside the Varnic home system, the council reviewed the recordings from the war. They had seen the battles, the losses, the weapon, but what truly shocked them wasn't the technology. It was the people. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced, but they were something else. They were unpredictable. One of the council members whispered, "They should have been easy to control." Another replied, "They can't even control themselves." A third spoke with a cold voice, "That's why they're dangerous." There was silence. Then, the youngest of them said, "They laughed at our power, and now, they laugh last, back." On Earth, General Cole stood alone on a mountain cliff near the base. He looked up at the stars. He didn't smile. He knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Behind him, Dr. Park approached. "We've decoded the last piece of Varnic data," she said. "It was a warning, sent before they left." Cole turned. "What did it say?" She looked him in the eye. "They said, we're not ready for what's coming next." He nodded. "Maybe not. But next time, we won't wait." In a small classroom in Brazil, a teacher asked her students a question: "What do we do when someone stronger tries to take what's ours?" A girl raised her hand. "We fight smart." A boy added, "We fight together." Another girl said, "We don't stop." The teacher smiled. "That's right, we're human." And far beyond Earth, in deep space, signals echoed from the edge of the system. Faint, distant, but coming closer. Humanity would be ready, because this time, when aliens looked down at Earth, they wouldn't laugh. They would remember the day we pulled the trigger.